So we're moving into the second week of having some fun, playing some games that can raise our vibration. I went through some of the history of it last week. I won't repeat that. But it was exciting for me to see the folks who came Tuesday and already had been implementing some of the games or finding ways to talk about it and ways to implement this into what they were doing. And it was too early really to see the results, but I can assure you those who spent the time doing it will. And we're going to add to that this week as we continue through Abraham's process. And again, this Tuesday night from 7 o'clock here in the sanctuary, if you join us, we're going to be going through the processes, and this is a very much more relaxed, open discussion with folks sharing what they're doing. And for the meditation this Tuesday, I'm going to take the work that we've been doing with the chakras, and we're going to do a much deeper spiritual cleansing. And I think you're going to enjoy it, and I think at the end of it, you'll find that it has made a difference, big difference. So we're going to change things up a little bit this Tuesday, and if you can be here, it would be great. So the basis for all of this is what we know from quantum physics now, that we are in a universe of vibration. We are beings of vibration. And it changes what we do. It changes what we do every day. Because as we understand the importance of what we vibrate, we understand the law of attraction brings what we vibrate to, brings it then to us. So the highest and fastest energy is source energy. I'm using that instead of God, because around the word God, some people, including myself, still have some negatives around it. So it's just, again, it's a word. And words are only signposts leading you to the experience, leading to you to feel it, to experience the difference when you're connected. And I've said this over and over again. I think if Jesus was here today, he wouldn't call it Holy Ghost, probably wouldn't call it even Holy Spirit. He would probably call it Holy Energy. But back in the day, 2,000 years ago, that was the best words that he had to describe the unseen, the non-physical, and try to have folks connect with it and begin to feel the difference. As Einstein said, many things that we've been talking about, but this is the one that applies to you and I. Nothing happens in the universe until something moves. And you and I are responsible for the movement within our own universe. Otherwise, it just stays static. Nothing will change unless you and I change it within ourselves. And that's what this whole process is through August, is finding other ways. These are other tools in your spiritual toolbox, and you pick and choose which ones work for you. I will tell you right up front, I haven't used all of these. But a lot of them I have, or I've used with coaching clients, and some of them have been incredibly successful in making some changes. Who is Abraham? As we talked, it's channeled energy. It's not a singular consciousness. It said we're a collective consciousness in a non-physical stream, bringing ideas to you in the physical. Why? Because their whole essence of we came here created to be joyful co-creators of our best life that we can. I don't know about you, but it doesn't get much better than that. And that I just so embrace that spiritual teaching is about us finding joy in what we do, joy in everything that we do. And Louise Hayes said this, one of the most valuable things about this art ask and is given, that Abraham gives us 22 powerful processes or tools. And I just love that, she said. And that's part of the reason why I began to study it back when I did. So last week we talked about these four. I'm not going to go through it. The Rampage of Appreciation, the Magical Creation Box, Creative Workshop, and Virtual Reality. I loved it on Tuesday night. Folks came with their magic boxes already and started to create a new life. And as they began to put things in there, you're going to watch what happens, because I'm telling you, be careful what you put in there. Make sure it's what you want and it makes you feel good. That was the two keys we talked about. And I've had other folks talk to me over the week through text or emails of different things they're putting in place of those four. So we're going to add to that this week, and we're going to begin with the prosperity game. I have used this game with many folks. And I'm going to tell you what I have found up front. If you can find a prosperity partner to play this game with, it's a whole lot more fun. And I'll talk about that as we go along. And I will also make a confession on the very front end. I have never been successful in doing this for a whole year. Every day for a year. It's one of the challenges Abraham gives, and we'll talk about why as we go through it. But this game is for when you want to enhance the flow of money in your experience. I don't know many people who don't want to enhance the flow. And money, the amount of money flowing through your life is up to you. What's right for you, what you feels good, what you feel worthy of, that's your decision, that's your beliefs. But you can enhance that. That's what this game is. And what I love about it, it goes the whole way now down to discouragement, number 16. If you remember last week, it was all things up in the positive, right? 1 through 7, or contentment. So basically, they were things for when you were already feeling good, you could enhance them. This is now getting down when you feel discouraged, especially if you're discouraged around money. It's a perfect game to begin to play that day and watch what begins to happen. So let's talk about the rules of the game. Set up an imaginary account, checking account, and day 1, deposit $1,000. Now, those who I've coached with this and have used it and played with it, they actually set up a spreadsheet in Excel and did it just like it was their checking account. And so day 1, you put in $1,000, and day 2 is $2,000, day 3 is $3,000, day 4 is $4,000. Every day you do it, you add another $1,000. But here's the kicker to the game. You have to spend that amount you deposited in that day. So you say, well, in the beginning, day 1, I can figure out quickly how to spend $1,000. Day 2, $2,000, day 3. But when you start getting into day 20 and 30, 50, and you've got $50,000 to spend today, and it continues to grow and grow. Every day you're adding to it. You get to the end of the year, you're spending $250,000 a day. More than $365,000. Now you say, well, it's just imagination. It's not. It's increasing your vibration around money. And this game works, let me tell you. And I wish I could tell you that I've done it for a whole year, but I haven't. I actually got tired of spending money. That tells you something about me. That's a lack. That's a resistance that I have. And so I've got to figure out how I'm going to do this, because I want to be able to do it for a whole year. If you play this game every day for a year, this is how much you're going to deposit and spend. $66 million. That's a big number with a lot of zeros. But if you play this game every day from now to next year at this time, you will have deposited in your account that much money. And you will have spent it every day as you go through the process. What do you think happens to your vibration? Yeah. What do you think happens to your imagination? Expands. This whole game is set up to expand your imagination and expand your vibration and challenge all your beliefs of resistance and lack. And like I said, I confess, I've never made it to that number. So I have work to do, I get it. You can imagine what that number becomes if you'd ever do it for 2 years. But here's what I would suggest that you do. If you can find a prosperity partner, and you email every morning what you deposited and what you bought. And just roughly, that was 200, that was 300, there's my $1,000. But it gives you an accountability partner and a fun thing to do for both of you, because you're going to learn from their imagination and their vibration, and they're opening to allowing a flow of money in their vibration that, hey, it's like, I didn't think about that. Yeah. So you can give it away. You can buy anything you want with it. You just can't hoard it. You got to spend it that day, or you lose it. That's the only rule in the game. And my challenge to anyone, I welcome anyone who's willing to take this game on and have a partner that you do it with. You're going to write to me 30 days from now and say, oh my goodness, not only has this happened, but the flow from the universe begins to change to you. Why? Law of attraction. It must bring what you vibrate to. This game, if you've got issues around money, a lack or limit or restriction, this game will change you very quickly. The universe doesn't know the difference if you're imagining a vibration or it's really happening to you. Why? Why is that? Because the universe only has one answer. Yes. Yes. I will bring you whatever you say you want. And this game is about, are you willing to expand your mind, your consciousness, your beingness, your vibration, your imagination to a place that you're willing to open, which is allowing, right? Versus restricting, which is the limit and lack of restrictions that you and I have all been trained. Everyone has a point of attraction around money. You know, I know that personally because I was raised that money was the root of all evil. I've had to work on this concept of money my entire life to get rid of the domestication and all the lies that were in my subconscious. This is one game that helped me tremendously. But I still couldn't even get it 1 year in. So my set point is less than 66 million. We know that for sure. A lot less. And I would imagine that some of yours are too. But if you're willing to commit yourself to play this game, it's a game. Just play it. And watch what starts coming up. And in the beginning, it's really easy. It's like this piece of cake. I'll spend $1,000. And then 10,000, it's like, well, let me see. And it starts growing and growing, and your whole imagination has to open up. And you begin to look at life in a different way around money. Because what is a belief? It's a thought that you've repeated over and over and over again until it was submerged into the unconscious. And obviously I had a belief that I was not worthy of that kind of money. As you play the game, you'll witness the universe responding to your vibrational offering. You're going to see it change very, very quickly, I promise you. So fast you won't believe it. But the universe will begin to bring you your vibrational offering, not your state of mind, not your state of being, not what you've always had as your emotional set point. This will begin to raise it and begin to raise it. You're going to see it showing up in ways that you have no idea. If you're open to allowing this intelligence that built a cosmos and universe can bring many channels to you that you're not even aware of, right? And if you don't restrict any of it and just keep playing the game, it's going to keep opening and opening and open. And that's why this game works. It is a powerful tool to shift your vibrational point of attraction. Where you are today in money is where your point of attraction is. And it will always stay here if you don't change it. Right? And you say, well, I'm happy where I am around money. Well, hey, the universe is growing 12% a year just to stay even. We want to be in a place of allowing, and let's see what happens. There's many uses for money, and a lot of them very, very good. If you and I had extra money, there's a lot of things we could do with it. So don't let those kind of things be the restrictors and the limiters for you. You have no idea how the universe can bring you through how many different channels. And the longer you play the game, the more expansive you become. Your imagination, your vibration, all of you gets bigger and bigger and begins to allow a worthiness level that allows you to bring it in at whatever level begins to happen for you. You move out of resistance into allowing. This is a key component to this whole process in all the co-creation work, is moving out of resistance into allowing, moving out of resistance into allowing. That doesn't just apply to money, that applies to every part of your life. And if you have any part of your life that's not feeling good, you're in resistance. And you want to get the next better thought to begin to take your vibration up, so you begin to feel good and bring in what you want. Abraham says this at the end of this chapter. When you can imagine at the level of joy, you will summon the God force, the life force, to flow through you, and there is nothing more wonderful than that. And I believe that applies to all aspects of our lives. It goes way back to this whole idea that we came here to co-create a joy-filled experience. That's why we're on this planet of lessons. And so many times we get into the minutiae, the details, and the muck, and we forget that we're here to create a joyful life, a joyful experience, in whatever it is. Because he says, I don't think it gets much better than that. I invite you to try the game. Find a prosperity partner. Go for it as far as you can and see what happens. The only thing I ask is an email back from you. Say, let me tell you what happened at 52 days or whatever. I love those kind of stories. All right, process number 6. The process of meditation. Whenever you want relief from resistance, Abraham says this is your go-to. This is my go-to whenever I'm not feeling good. It's immediately where I go to. And meditation has many meanings, right? And we're going to talk about a very simple approach to meditation that is incredibly powerful. But look where it's good for, the whole way to the bottom. Fear and despair. Abraham says if you're feeling fear, despair, depression, this is your go-to. Go here first. And you're going to begin, as a cork we've talked about, as you begin to remove the limits, you're going to start floating back up to the ceiling, up to the top, up towards joy and freedom. But it doesn't happen just overnight from 22 to 1, step by step by step. Abraham says this about belief, and I think it's important because we talk a lot about beliefs, and we really need to understand what they are. Any thought that you continue to think is a belief. Well, that doesn't sound like a very difficult religious definition, but that's what it is. It's repeated over and over again until it becomes your belief. And then your belief is what you vibrate to. But the beauty of it is knowing where it came from. It came from a thought that you took in, repeated it with emotion, and made it into a belief system. We can unwind it and go back to that thought and replace it with something good. Many of our beliefs serve us very well. Many of them do. They make life easier. We don't have to go through and analyze everything. It's part of the habit system. We have a belief that works, it makes you feel good, it's what you want. We don't change that. That makes life easier. But there are some beliefs that do not serve us well, and they're usually around our inadequacies, our unworthiness, are not good enough. They are no different than any other belief, except we put a lot of emotion around them, did we not? We were taught to them by somebody of authority at some point in time when we were little, and we've allowed them to be in there, be part of who we are. Only a thought, repeated over and over and over again, usually with a lot of emotion, right? But that's all it is. And it can be changed like any other belief or habit. love this about what Abraham says is we don't have to work hard at being in a high frequency, the bobbing cork, because it's who we are. We don't have to add worth. We don't have to add esteem. We don't have to add confidence. That's who we were created. All we have to do is release the muck that we have around the incredible wonder that we are. And we begin to float up. That is 180 degrees from a lot of religious teaching, right? You have to go out and be good. No, you just got to get rid of the muck. And you begin to float. Because it's who you are. You already are that. We just need to get rid of the barnacles that are hanging on. In my belief system, over many lifetimes. And as we release that karmic debt, it frees us to become who and what we are in this time. It's our essence, our true nature. Our work is to release the limits and the restriction. So much easier than trying to go find esteem. Or I'm good enough. You already are. You just got to release the beliefs that you aren't. We see meditation as a shortcut to changing one's beliefs. Abraham said it's the shortest way to change beliefs that he knows. He being the collective consciousness. He says it's very simple. Sit in a quiet place where you will not be disturbed. It doesn't matter how you sit. Doesn't matter how your legs are crossed. Sit comfortably. Feet on the ground. Let the energy flow. Hands on your lap. Keep your spine naturally straight, but not ramrod straight. You want to be comfortable. Let your body relax into this position. Wear comfortable clothes. Sit comfortably. Not too hard to do. Not many rules here. Breathe deeply and gently and allow your thoughts to float by. That's all he says you got to do. Now, I add in there for me, and I talk to you all about it, we do it a lot on Tuesday night, is to find the gap. At the end of the word, there's a gap. End of the word, a gap. That works for me. Try it and see if it works for you. I have never been successful stopping thoughts. They keep coming. And if you go to a place of allowing and let them floating by, you can find that gap to settle into. And that's what he's talking about here. Nothing fancy, no big deal. No $400 course to learn how to meditate. Just simply sit down and do it. And see what happens. As you settle inward towards your center, towards that perfection within each and every one of us, the resistance, the limits flow away. The belief system that you're not good enough because it's a lie will release. It cannot stay there because it is not true. And as this resistance and limits flow away, you begin to float upward like the cork. You're going up the next levels of the emotional guide. And eventually you will get to number one, joy and bliss. And a knowingness that everything's okay. All is well. I love how Abraham uses, we're well-beings. That's who we are. We were created that way. Well-beings. All is well. We've used that phrase in Unity a long time, but we never took the next step and became well-beings. And he said you have to begin to understand that and make that your belief system. When you do this, he says, you're saying this to source energy or God. Here I am in a state of allowing, and I'm allowing you, God, to flow through me. That's meditation, as defined by Abraham. For me, it was so freeing, because I had spent, I think I've talked about it, through the whole Yogananda training and everything, 3 hours of meditation, an hour every morning, an hour at night, 3 hours on Saturday. It became work. That is not this. This is finding a place and saying, here I am. I'm open up for allowing and the flow of life force to come through me. And let all the other stuff go. Because you've been asking for things, you've been setting up rockets of desire, you've been filling your magic creation box, which is a very powerful way of asking. This meditation begins to release your resistance and move you to vibration of allowing. And things, that's why he said it's a shortcut, things become attracted to you much faster. Much quicker, much faster. And the more resistance and limits you and I drop, the more we vibrate to total allowing. Because total allowing means you and I have a belief that we're worthy of it all. Right? God or source, energy, is the allness. And if you and I believe that without any resistance to it, it has to flow through us. It's part of the law. It's the process it must do. So in this chapter, someone said to Abraham in one of the sessions, but Abraham, I've been negative for 50 years. I know no one in here has been out. And said, are you sure 15 minutes a day is enough? Will it take me 50 years to turn this thing around? Guess what Abraham said? No, 15 minutes a day ought to do it. 15 minutes. I don't care how busy anyone is. You have 10 to 15 minutes. Somewhere, somehow, in your day, to stop your mind, get centered, and let your thoughts flow by. Breathe deeply, and look for the gap which connects you directly to source energy, or God. No, it won't take you 50 years. 15 minutes a day ought to do it. And it's the consistent day after day after day that begins to change your vibration. It begins to change who you are anymore. It begins to change your beliefs. Remember, this process is a shortcut from negative resistance, limiting, lack, beliefs, to what you want and what makes you feel good. Give it a try. Process number 7 today. Who likes to evaluate dreams? Who has dreams? I love Abraham's take on dreams. You can go out and spend $26 and buy a book like this, Evaluating Your Dreams, right? Which is nothing but someone's opinion. Right? What he teaches here, I love it, because it changes everything about a dream for you and me. So when you want to understand why you are having a particular dream, and this is where he takes it from number 1 to 22. So this is another go-to. You wake up in the morning and you've got a dream, and he's going to tell you what to do with it. What you think about and what manifests in your life experience is always a vibrational match. You've heard me now for 2 months say this over and over again. It has to be, because it's the law. But here's what we haven't talked about. In the same way, what you think about and what manifests in your dreams is always a vibrational match. Uh-oh. That's not what the $36 book said. But begin to think what he's saying here. So coming out of your subconscious when you are sleeping is telling you things that you may not be consciously aware of who and what you are vibrationally spinning to. And if you begin to take this approach to your dreams, it really does change everything. Because I believe, I've seen studies now that scientists are now saying that 98% of your dreams are about you anyway, right? It may be another person, but you're projecting your stuff onto that person and you're seeing it back. But what he's saying is anything that happens in a dream is about you. It's coming up out of you where you vibrationally match to what's coming to you. when you are unconscious, basically in that sleep state. Well, one of the questions I had was, well, do I create when I'm dreaming, when I'm sleeping? Because there's some dreams I don't want to manifest. I don't know about you. I had that question. We'll get to that in a second. So Abraham said this. This is his guidance. Right before you go to sleep, say this. It is my intention to rest well and to awaken refreshed. And if there is anything important for me to recall from my dream state, I will recall it when I awaken. This is setting intention, right? We've talked about intention. Set your intention before you go to sleep. You're setting intention to sleep well, be rested, but when you wake up, if there's anything important for you, you will remember from that dream state. And then as you awaken, lie there for a few moments and ask, do I remember anything from my dream state? He said the key here is you want to search for the feeling. It's not so much the story, but how did you feel? Because that's your vibration, right? Your emotional state is your vibration. So if you're feeling to something that you want and something that makes you feel good, it's obviously upcoming from your subconscious as something that's in alignment with what you are consciously saying, I want in my life. If it's not, that's what I love about this work with evaluating your dreams. Because it's guiding you to things that your subconscious mind wants you to know that you're vibrating at a level that you might not be conscious of. And if we begin to approach them that way, our dreams become a tool for us to find something else that may be limit or lack or restricting. And we want to then move it to a more allowing consciousness, more allowing vibration. I find this a very healthy approach to dreams. But here's the answer I got from him, and I love it. We do not create while we dream. We're unconscious. We can only, remember, we have free will choice. It makes all the sense when you think about it. And if we're unconscious dreaming, we are not co-creating at that level. Look at it as awareness to your vibration and what's in the subconscious that you can bring forward to do. The dream is simply a manifestation of what you're thinking. And here's the question. Is it what you want, the feeling, and does it make you feel good? And if the answer is yes, enhance it. Hold on to it. If the answer is no, you have free will choice to change it right there and then. By what? The same thing we've been talking about for weeks. Take the next better thought to get you to a better place vibration. And if we begin to use our dreams this way, it allows the things that we're still holding on to in our subconscious to come forward for us to clean, release, and take to another place, a higher place. Abraham said this, dreams can give you wonderful insight into your current vibrational state. I don't know about you, but this was new for me, to learn how to look at my dreams this way. And I don't remember a lot of my dreams. I've been remember more and more because I've started to set the intention. And they're showing up. And I look at them this way, is it something I want? Yes, hold on to it. If not, move on and find another better thought to move higher with it. I don't want this. What is it that I do want? And why do I want it? We go right back through the what, the why, and the feeling of having it. We set off, by doing that, a new rocket of desire right there, right then in the morning. And you go on about your day. And as more comes up that you don't want, you change it. More comes up you want, another rocket of desire for what you do. I find this one of the healthiest, most positive ways that I have seen to be able to deal with the dreams as they come up. Process number 8, the book of positive aspects. When to use it? When you're aware of a subject or a person that you don't feel good about. And you can see it's from level 1 down to frustration, level 10, and impatience. This is an interesting one, and I've used it, and it's been very powerful. So they say choose a notebook, one that feels good to you, and you write on the cover, my book of positive aspects. The only thing you can write in this book is something positive. And so remember at the very beginning, it said if someone or something that you're not feeling good about, this is a process that you would use. Because every event in our lives and every person in our lives, we can find at least one positive aspect, can we not? At least one. Or about our job, or about our home, or about whatever it is. And so what you do, again, this is a writing exercise, so at the top of the page, you write a brief description of the someone or something. Who they are, why they're triggering you, whatever it might be. And then, as you focus on that subject, person or event, you begin to ask these questions. What do I like about you? Why do I love you so much? And what are your positive aspects? Now remember, this is not an exercise for someone you feel good about. This is for someone you're having some emotional stuff around. Because it's easy to do this with someone you like a lot or love, right? Or a job that you like and love, that's easy. We did that in last week. This is about when you have someone that's butting up against you emotionally. You're having a charge about. But when you sit down and write these 3 questions down and begin to answer them, your vibration will change. It will change a lot. And you're going to find out you have a lot more in common, similar with them, than the differences of what we were focused on. What do I like about you? Why do I love you so much? And what are your positive aspects? And begin to list the positive aspects. Try to write down as many as you can. And again, I've said this over and over again through this process, the writing down brings it into the physical, makes it much more focused, much more attention, much more powerful vibrationally than just up here and trying to think, 10, 15 things. Write it down, see what happens, and then look at it. In 20 minutes of writing, you will activate a powerful vibration of appreciation. We talked about the power of appreciation, what that brings into our lives, and the well-being that we're feeling. And when you have filled the notebook, you will probably go out and purchase another one. You probably will. Why? Abraham says this, there's true power of focus in the experience of writing. We've talked about focus, right? And the power of attention and the energy around that. And there's true power of connecting to your own source energy in the experience of writing things that feel good when you write them. This process, this game, aligns you with source energy. Why? Because source energy only has positive aspects. There's no negative there. So as you only write positive, you come fully in alignment with source energy or God. And if you focus upon what you want, you will feel good. And if and when you feel good, you will be in the positive mode of attraction. Then would not your most important work be to look for the positive aspects of all things? Would that not be our most important work every day? If it aligns us with our Creator, with our source energy, with God, why wouldn't we do the work to find only positive aspects about everything in our lives? And it moves us into alignment. And we know what happens when we're in alignment. That's the flow, right? Probably the most important work that we have to do. To look for the parts of all things that are uplifting to you, to get your attention out of the potholes. What does he mean by potholes? When you go into a town, a new town, and they'll say, yeah, well, watch out on 2nd Street, there's a pothole, and there's one over on 4th. Right? We don't talk about all the great things, all the positive things. We talk about what's not right. Society is predominantly oriented towards criticism to what's wrong, always wanting to face, quote, the facts. When you vibrate to everything that's wrong, what are you going to attract? More and more, and more and more. But it's the bent of society, is to show us, talk about it, what's predominantly wrong. And what this is about is switching that and getting you vibrationally in a place of only talking and writing and thinking about what's positive. Filled with those that predominantly worry, rather than those predominantly know that all is well. Now, I know there's no worriers here at Unity Harrisburg. Right? But filled with those who predominantly worry, what is society bringing to them? More of what they worry about. Right? And he says this at the end, just make a decision that you will look for what you want to see and what makes you feel good. That's it. That's it. And let all the other go. And keep coming back. Well, what's positive? What's the positive aspect here? What's the positive? What's the positive aspect? And we keep coming back. We will retrain ourselves to get out of the potholes, to get out of what's wrong, to get out of the negative, and begin to attract only what's good and makes us feel good. What's positive here? Your book of positive aspects will put you more and more in the position of attracting by virtue of your inspired positive feeling for whatever you desire. You're opening to more allowing and releasing more and more of your resistance. You cannot, positive and negative do not mix. You cannot align with God, source energy, from negativity. They don't work, they repel. And what this is a process to learn how to bring ourselves back in alignment with our source, creator, source energy, God. Because it's only going to ever be about the positive aspects. There's no room. You can't have both. They repel. And this is a way to make sure that we begin to build the habits to get there. If it feels good, give it your full attention. If it doesn't feel good, never look at it again. Drop it, walk away, turn your back, and move towards the light. What happens when we face the light? Where's the shadows? Back here. So all we have to do is turn to the light, turn to the positive, and let the shadows and negatives be behind us and never look back. And we'll keep moving forward into the light. All right. We're going to move into the